Today is World Alzheimer's Day, and we are honored to be joined by one of the most recognizable Alzheimer's advocates who's been on the front lines of the fight against the disease for decades.
Maria Shriver has testified before Congress, written best-selling books, produced award-winning movies, and is the founder of the Women's Alzheimer's Movement. 2 years ago, she started a brain brand called Mosh with her son Patrick Schwarzenegger. Maria and Patrick join us this morning to tell us all about their mission-driven company and steps that people of all ages can take to start working on their brain health today. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely great to see you. And before we get to the brand that you and Patrick started, so many families have been affected by Alzheimer's, but talk about your story personally, maybe for those who don't know who are watching this.
So my dad, Patrick's grandfather, was diagnosed in 2003, and my father, Sergeant Shriver, was the smartest human being I had ever met. And I was fascinated to learn, I wanted to learn everything I could about how a brain that smart could actually disintegrate like that in real time, and he not know who I was, not know what a glass is. So that began 20 years of advocacy on my part, and the more that I learned, I tried to put it out through testifying in films, in documentaries, and everywhere I would go, people would say, like, do you have anything to eat? What should I do? How can I prevent this? And while we don't have a cure, we know far more today than we did when I started, that people actually can do a lot to protect their brain health and perhaps prevent or delay Alzheimer's.
And with that body of work that you have in this space, what do you feel like you've accomplished? Where are we?
Well, I've changed the narrative to include women and put women at the forefront. When I started in this space, nobody spoke about women, which is why I went out and did a Shriver report in partnership with the Alzheimer's Association, and we single-handedly changed the narrative. So now 2/3 of those who get Alzheimer's are women. 2/3 of those who are the caregivers of those with Alzheimer's, and 1 billion people have a neurological disease around the world. This is World Alzheimer's Day. And so when anybody talks about Alzheimer's today, they talk about women. And so I'm really proud of that. I think that we've educated millions of people about their own brain health, about their own advocacy, about caregiving, and about how this is an issue not just for my generation, but in particular for this generation, which 10 million people Patrick's age are now caring for someone 50 and above. And this is only going to get worse as boomers age forward. We're an aging country. I did a big proposal for Gavin Newsom about how California in particular, more people with Alzheimer's in California. What do we need to do to prepare? And this is a national, international, global, and statewide issue.
Yeah. Let's get to the brand, the company that you started, Mosh. It's a mission-driven company.
That it is.
Patrick, how did you and Mom get together and come up with this idea?
Yeah, well, during COVID, I actually moved back home with my mom. And
how was that?
Oh, we had a blast. We had a really great time.
Come on.
I would love to live with Maria Shriver. I don't know.
No, it was great. We had so much fun. It was actually me, my girlfriend, and her. So it was
there you go.
Funny dynamic. But we had a lot of fun, and that's kind of when we started Mosh. I mean, Mosh is a mission-driven company. It's aimed to educate consumers about what they eat impacts their brain health, and we raise money for Alzheimer's. We've been really proud to say that we've raised over $100,000 for Alzheimer's research. And it really just came about because my mom is a protein bar fanatic.
Okay.
But I was watching her take these different vitamins and nutrients and superfoods in the morning that her nutritionists and brain health doctors were advocating that she took. And I just said, why don't you create something that has all these different things combined into one?
Yeah.
Really has ample, high amount of protein, high fiber, no added sugar, has your vitamin B12, your D3, your omegas, lion's mane, ashwagandha, all this stuff packed into a delicious bar, and that's how Mosh was born.
And we notice it says on the box and on these bars, plant-based.
Yes.
Why is that important?
Well, we just launched these actually today for World Alzheimer's Day.
You get the premiere.
Yes.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay.
But these have, there's tons of ingredients in these bars, like I already mentioned a bunch of them.
Yes.
But this is kind of reinventing your morning ritual. So these are kind of more breakfast flavored. And they have real fruit pieces in there as well.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
So you have the apple cinnamon oatmeal. I think you have banana bread. You have peanut butter over there.
It's got kind of a crunchy texture to it.
We started with other bars, which are whey, and people said, can you also add plant, because I'm trying to pursue a plant-based lifestyle. So this was in response to our customers' consumers saying we also want plants. So now we have both. And more people are, embracing a plant lifestyle, or at least partially during the day. So we wanted to be able to cater to as many people as possible.
And, the question about diet and what we're learning about brain health, how vital is what we put into our body?
Critical.
Yeah.
Critical. And I think Patrick's generation is really beginning to talk so much more about our health and wellness. What are we putting, how do we get off of this high processed American diet, right? How do we get away from sugar? And so many people, when he talked about reinventing the morning meal, people are moving away from high sugar cereals, right? Kids can't learn if they're all jacked up on sugar, right? And many people kind of refer to Alzheimer's as a type 3 diabetes. So this is why we have 0 added sugar in these bars. That was really important to us, and it took us a long time to get something that tasted really great without a lot of sugar. And that was something that Patrick worked really hard on, making sure that this was delicious and nutritious, that you could start your day with this, or it could help you in the afternoon, which is, I always have it in my bag. And so
she eats multiple. She's eating them all day long. But I think you always talk about, what's the stat with how much diet can impact brain health?
It's huge. I mean, every brain doctor that I've talked to said, if you could tell people 2 things or 1 thing, tell them to move, and look at what they're eating. So we advocate a brain healthy lifestyle. So what you eat, nurture, nourish, or destroy, right? But get up and move your body, move yourself, because that helps the brain as well as sleep. So, kind of, I think advocating a brain healthy lifestyle at this age really will determine how well you age forward. My generation is just now catching on. We did not grow up with this sort of thing. We did not hear about it. So I'm really happy that this generation is focused on their health and wellness. They're thinking about brain health, but I'm really adamant that my generation, it's never too late to think about your brain health. It's never too late to think about, how can I delay Alzheimer's? How can I delay a neurodegenerative disease? And Mosh is your partner.
Patrick's been doing it for a long time. He's 48 years old.
It's amazing.
Look how I
Doesn't look a day over 20-something.
He's the best ad, right? He's the great, and it's great to work with your, kid. It's just really a joy. I've learned so much from him. He had expertise in this area. I did not. I was in journalism.
Moving home was a great idea.
Seriously, I had free rent. I got to make a company. It was great. We had a lot of fun.
It's secretly a mother's dream.
Oh, not secretly. I'll just advocate it.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Having us.
Once again, Marie and Patrick's brain health brand is called Mosh. For more information, you can go to moshlife.com or follow them on social media.